Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive.
Glad to be back.
Now, I know it's Halloween, and everyone's thinking spooky, scary stuff.
Yeah, ghosts, goblins.
Right, but we're talking about a real-life scary situation today. Wildfire risk.
Oh yeah, big time.
And I don't just mean like the usual spots, California.
Right, places you kind of expect.
Exactly. We're seeing red flag warnings like everywhere. The Midwest, the West. It's a lot.
It is widespread, yeah.
So we got to figure this out, right? Why is this happening? And who needs to be extra careful?
Absolutely.
Lucky for us, we've got this report from the National Weather Service. It lays it all out.
Great resource.
So, just to get started, what really jumps out at you from these red flag warnings?
Honestly, it's how widespread they are. Like, we're seeing them coast to coast, obviously the entire West Coast.
Sure, yeah.
But then, deep into the Midwest, that's a bit alarming. This isn't just a regional thing anymore.
Right, it's a whole country issue.
Exactly, it's a national concern.
Okay, so before we get too deep into it, got to make sure everyone listening is on the same page,
Of course, yeah.
Some folks might not know what a red flag warning even is.
Right.
So can you break it down for us?
Imagine, a perfect storm, but for fire.
Okay.
That's basically what a red flag warning means.
Oh.
It's when you've got this, dangerous combo, low humidity, strong winds, and a ton of dry stuff just ready to go up in flames.
Right, all that dry vegetation.
Exactly.
And from the looks of it, a lot of areas are hitting that trifecta right now.
Yeah, they are.
The report mentions that things are unusually dry in a lot of places. So I gotta ask, is this just bad luck with the weather? Or is there something more going on?
Well, weather patterns definitely play a role, but we got to think long term too,
Okay.
A lot of these regions have been dealing with drought, for a while now. Years of low rainfall, super hot summers, and the snowpack shrinking every year.
Right, less snow.
Exactly. It all adds up, the whole landscape is parched, super vulnerable.
It's like the ground itself is thirsty.
Basically.
So the report highlighted California as a big concern, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
What's going on out west?
Think of Northern California, right now, as a giant tinderbox.
Oh, wow.
Seriously. They're seeing wind speeds 25 to 35 miles per hour. Gusts could get up to 50.
That's intense.
And picture that wind just whipping through these canyons and valleys, all full of dry brush and trees. It's scary, especially with the humidity way down, 9%.
9%. Oh, my.
It's wild. The air itself is sucking the moisture out of everything.
That's a scary thought. And it sounds like Colorado's not doing much better, huh?
No, not really. Similar situation. Low humidity, crazy winds.
Right.
But here's the kicker. Colorado's also been dealing with record-breaking heat.
Oh, no.
Seriously. So you got those dry winds blowing across landscapes that are already baked by the sun. Even a tiny spark could be a huge problem.
Yikes. So we got the West Coast on high alert.
For sure.
But the Midwest. Wildfires in the Midwest. That kind of threw me for a loop.
Yeah, I get that.
Isn't the Midwest supposed to be,
Yeah.
more moist?
Haha, you'd think, right. But even places that aren't usually prone to wildfires, they can become vulnerable if the conditions are just right. Or, I guess, wrong in this case.
Right.
And that's what we're seeing in the Midwest. Dry vegetation, those strong winds, and the humidity, even if it seems high, 15 to 25%, it's still low enough to be a problem.
So even a little dryness can be bad news.
Especially when you've got all that other stuff going on. Think of places like Des Moines, surrounded by fields, grasslands.
Yeah.
With a spark, those fields can go up just as fast as a forest.
This is serious stuff.
Yeah.
So for those of us listening who, might be in one of these high-risk areas,
Yeah.
what can we do? What can we do to stay safe? The report mentions avoiding things that could start a fire, but what does that look like in real life?
It means being extra careful. No outdoor burning at all. Thinking about having a bonfire in the backyard.
Yeah, seems like a bad idea.
Definitely not a good idea right now. And be super careful with anything that could make a spark. Lawnmowers, power tools.
Chainsaws, things like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Even something as simple as using a chainsaw can be dangerous with these conditions. And don't forget about the little things, like cigarettes.
Oh, right.
A cigarette butt can start a huge fire.
That's a good point. So let's recap here. We've got this huge wildfire risk across a big part of the U.S.
Yeah.
And it's all because of this perfect storm of low humidity, strong winds, and all that dry vegetation. And it's not just the usual suspects, like California. It's places that don't usually have to worry about this.
Exactly.
Which I guess brings up another question. How does climate change play into all this?
That's the big one.
Yeah. We see these extreme weather patterns, these long droughts.
More and more often, too.
Are we going to see this wildfire risk just keep getting worse?
It's a real possibility.
And if so, what can we even do about it?
That's the question we all need to be thinking about.
Yeah, for sure. Especially as we head into a future where these kinds of events might be the new normal.
Right.
But for now, the message is clear. Stay informed, stay vigilant, and take all those safety recommendations seriously.
Especially if you live in one of the areas we've talked about.
Yeah. Stay safe out there, everyone.
Stay safe.